Hello and welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us for a new episode of Anewgo of New Home Sales. I'm your host, Anya Chrysanthon, and joining me today is my friend, Carol Morgan with Denim Marketing. Welcome to the show, Carol. So excited to have you on.
So excited to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me, and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes. So, Carol, for those people who may not be familiar with you or Denim Marketing, can you please tell us your life story? How did you get into home building industry, and what do you do at Denim Marketing?
Oh my goodness, we might take the whole time just going through the history, but I'm just kidding. So Carol Morgan, Denim Marketing. I'm the founder and president. We are going to be 25 years old next year. Can you believe it? It's crazy.
Congratulations. That's
Isn't
amazing.
that amazing? So I guess I fell into home building, or I like to say it chose me. My first several years out of college, I worked in public relations for various nonprofit attractions. I worked at the Atlanta Botanical Garden and then at Zoo Atlanta. And Zoo Atlanta was a really cool job. Probably my claim to fame there was having 22 crews on grounds the day that Ivan the gorilla arrived from the Seattle Tacoma area shopping mall, the BNI. He was moved from basically a cage at a shopping mall to one of the wonderful outdoor habitats at the zoo. So we'd like to say he upgraded his outdoor living space for sure, and to our terms for real estate. But from there, I went on to work for a small marketing agency where I started their PR division. And then in 1999, went out on my own and started my company, focusing at the time on public relations. And then as things started changing, we started blogging. We started adding social media as the sites came on board as opportunities for our clients. We've grown along with all the new digital marketing technology that's grown over the years into what Denim Marketing is today. We work nationwide. We work for builders, developers, mortgage companies. We do a lot in the build for rent space. We do a lot in the 50 plus space. We work for big builders, small builders, medium builders, everyone in between. So that's just a little bit about our history and what we do, but we're very content focused. So if you're looking for blogging, social media, public relations, email marketing drip campaigns, promotions campaigns, all of those sorts of things, that's what we specialize in.
Love it. And of course, you have a team behind you.
I
So not
do.
only your human team who are helping you with all those things, but you also have quite a few animal companions there,
I
don't you?
do. So that's very true. I don't know if any of them have cruised through the video yet or not, but I am fortunate to have a human team of 4 full-time people who all support our clients and do fantastic work. I have an awesome team. I think many people who are listening to this podcast probably know my VP of Client Services, Courtney Stewart. She's been with me for 10 years, which is phenomenal. I think speaks to the strength of Denim and our understanding of the industry. She's very involved in professional women in building. We're both very involved with NHB and speak at the International Builders Show and all those things. Then my animal team, my chief security officer's asleep on the floor, Anya. Asleep, sound asleep. So apparently we're all secure. And the chief happiness officer, oh, he's asleep over here. My 2 German shepherds are sleeping on the job, which is good because that way they're not interrupting this fabulous podcast like they could be. And then in addition to them, there are 12 other animals that live here. 2 other animals that live here are fairly famous. My donkey, whose name is Donkey, or Kimberly Mackey likes to call him Sir Donkey of Thistledown. And everybody loves Donkey, and he's quite the star on Facebook. And then we have a bird who is a European starling. His name is Chirp. And Chirp becomes quite famous because he can whistle all things iPhone. So he sounds just like a phone ringing. He sounds just like the dong that your phone makes when you get a message. He's my son Forest bird. So, of course, I taught him to say run, Forest, run. So we have a lot of fun with Chirp. But so, yes, those are the famous residents here, the 2 dogs, a few cats, a couple of horses, Donkey, and Chirp, the European starling. So, yes, I
It's
live in
like
a
you live
zoo.
on a farm.
Yes, I do live on a farm or a zoo or whatever it is. But yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, so you're certainly keeping busy over there. You keep hearing things in headlines and what the Fed is doing, and lately the latest headline has been, are we heading for 8% mortgages, which is just brutal.
Well, we could
So it can be quite defeating in this environment where it's okay, affordability is pretty much non-existent. I read something along the lines that NHB published a study that last month 90% of all of the inflation was attributed to housing costs,
Wow.
which makes sense. And that's
Yeah.
why they're so aggressively trying to raise the rates and get that under control, which I don't know if it's working because it seems like the housing
Not
prices
working.
continue to rise overall. There are a few places in the country where prices have come down, but it seems like it's either staying flat or continuing to go up. So it
There.
can be very
Yeah.
challenging environment to work in and sell new construction in. And although we've made leaps and bounds as far as leading the industry in new home sales, because historically we were attributed to 10% of all sales, now we're
Mm-hmm.
closer to 30 or maybe even higher, just because there's nothing else is out there.
Right.
But it is a challenging environment. There's a lot of uncertainty with consumers when they're
Mhm.
thinking, do I buy a house now? Is it a good time to buy a house? Am I overpaying for a home? So I want to talk about some marketing that we can be doing, and what do you see that works right now to give consumers a little bit more of an assurance that they're making a right decision?
Yeah. Versus just asking this, my magic 8 ball, we could ask, should consumers buy a new home now? Oh, look at that. Signs point to yes.
Oh, that's
I've got lots of thoughts there, but let's just start with it is a good time to buy a house, especially new construction, because home builders are working really hard with incentives and promotions and special rates. So it's possible that you could buy a new home and still be around 4% or 3.5% with all the incentives and promotions they're offering. We have home builders doing rate buy downs, which makes it more affordable. And then a lot of them are offering special programs so that if you can get a lower rate in the next 3 to 5 years, then they'll pay for you to refinance your house. And some of them are offering both of those programs. So rate buy downs, you can get it into the fours, and then you've got this great opportunity if you can refi for lower, but they're going to pay all those closing costs. So I think that's huge. Are you seeing things like that as well, Anya?
I think so. I think it's definitely been popping up more. We hear word incentives more. And I think that's a really great topic to talk about, because incentives done right can
Mm-hmm.
be such a beautiful tool to help us close the deal. But incentives done wrong can destroy your entire brand and everything you worked
Exactly.
for so long.
Yeah.
So when it comes to doing incentives and advertising incentives, let's talk about some of the best practices and maybe some of the not so great ideas that you've seen.
Yeah. And there's lots of schools of thought on that. There are companies that won't offer an incentive or do a promotion that is going to reduce a rate no matter what, period. They just don't. And then there's home builders that it's the which promotion's next. The nice thing about promotions is that it gives you the opportunity to have something fun to market. And promotions don't have to be giving something completely away, right? You could do a promotion on the new model home you've just opened. In your promotion, use your video, use your 3D tours, use all of your cool renderings, push it out there and invite people to come take a tour, and then simply give them a $10 Starbucks card or a Chick-fil-A card or some little perk. Maybe they just get a hat, a cool hat with your building company name on it. So I think that's the thing people forget is they feel like they have to give something huge away. But really what you're trying to do is just to break free from the clutter and get your stuff noticed. I don't know. I'm sure there are some bad promotions. There's promotions done poorly. I still see people who promote something in just one place instead of creating a whole marketing program around the promotion. It's not enough just to do an e-blast or just to put a couple posts on Facebook. You need to do it all and make sure that it's all encompassing. You can use that promotion to retarget somebody that's already visited your community once and get them to come back. Figure out some way to get them back in the door.
Absolutely. So I agree with you. I think it's an excellent tool to help close the deals, get the awareness out there, right? We are always looking for that next message in
Right.
marketing. It's okay, what do we talk about? What are we talking about? What are we posting today? And so when it's done correctly, when you put some thought behind it and not just throwing up how it's this weekend only or
Right.
whatever. Consumers can smell the desperation, and
Right.
everybody likes to be sold at the end of the day.
Right.
But thoughtful marketing, and especially when we see some really fun marketing out
Hmm.
of the box. The other day, I just posted on LinkedIn. I saw something that Maybelline mascara was doing. They put lashes on a subway car.
Oh,
They put
cute.
lashes on a bus in New York City, and every time the bus or a train would come to a stop, it would hit against the mascara to
Oh,
to paint the lash.
cute.
Stuff like that. It's, oh
Yeah.
wow, how cool is that? It's so out of the box. It catches
Right.
your attention because it's not something you see every single day. And I think it is important to keep it fun, right?
Hmm.
So do you have any ideas for us that you've seen other builders implement, or maybe you're working with some builders currently that are doing something unusual out of the
Holly, I
box?
haven't seen anything super unusual for a while. I'm looking at some, I'm thinking back to some of the most unusual promotions I've seen, and these have all probably go back to pre-Great Recession. But we had a builder in Atlanta that gave away a VW Bug with every house they sold. When you bought the house, you got the free car. And part of what they said is that this way you're not going to be tempted while you're in closing to ruin your credit by go buy a car because we're going to give you one. Right. I've seen home builders give away golf carts when they've got golf cart community homes, or even just neighborhoods with great golf cart pathways, maybe not even with a golf club there. We've worked a lot on different kind of incentive packages. Maybe you have a choice between a chef's kitchen and a spa bathroom and some big Mac Daddy garage package. So those are always fun. I think people like choices. So if they have a choice on how to spend those promotional dollars. One thing we're working on a lot right now, on which I think makes sense for the whole industry, and I think everybody's lost a little bit of sight of this, is realtor promotions. Think about the co-op agents out there who are just general brokers. They don't have anything to sell right now. There is almost no resale inventory out there. So their biggest opportunity to make money is discovering inventory homes or soon to be finished homes, or those move-in ready homes, so they can keep their pipeline going. Promoting what you've got available to agents is hugely important right now. And I keep having to remind clients because they just forget. They haven't done it in so long. They don't have it as a habit to let people know, oh, hey, we've got 3 houses that are going to be ready in whatever it is, 30, 60, 90 days. Let your clients know if they're looking in this area. It's a great opportunity for a huge win. You don't even have to throw an extra commission or bonus at them. They're happy to do it for that 3% or whatever standard in your area.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. If you look at the market right now, it is crickets. We normally see lots of postings from real estate agents, just sold this, just sold that, and
Right.
it's literally
They
just
don't.
so quiet. So it is a great opportunity for you to build relationships with clients now. I just had Leah Turner on the podcast recently, and we talked about some of the best practices for building relationships with your realtor community. And of course, don't forget to put your listings into MLS, especially if it's something that
Right.
is in inventory home. Make sure it's in there and your local realtor community is aware, because I'm sure they'll be jumping at any
Mhm.
opportunity to sell your homes right
I
now,
mean,
for
you're
sure.
absolutely right. And that's, people should go back and listen to that podcast too and get some of Leah's tips because it's really low hanging fruit. The realtors are desperate to have something to sell, and we have some houses. So let's get them to help us and make it a win. Remind them we're out there. Send some cookies to their office, send some of the flyers to your office. Think back to the things we used to do way back in the day before the Great Recession and even coming out of it to get our homes noticed. Things we didn't have to do during the pandemic, that's for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I do agree with you. It's the person who's going to shine right now is going to be that person who's willing to do things that others simply are not willing to do. So
Exactly.
think outside the box and make sure you are prospecting consistently, cranking out. And of course, be sure that your marketing team is working very closely with your sales people so that you guys are all on the same page with what promotion is happening right now. Is your sales team even aware of this promotion?
Right.
Because the worst
Yeah.
thing you can do is to have a client walk in the door and say, hey, I got your mailing, or I saw on
Ooh.
your website or your ad, and the sales representative has no idea what they're even talking about.
And not just on site, but your online folks too. Make sure your OSC knows what's going on and include them in the loop, because they may say, or they may hear things that people are asking for that you haven't even thought about. It's nice because they have a pulse on what's going on out there. So ask them what they're hearing from potential buyers and include them in that marketing loop as well.
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
Yeah.
Carol, I know you are a big fan of content marketing, as
Yes.
am I. I definitely believe in content marketing, and I think it is the best long-term organic strategy is to really invest in your content marketing. Obviously, at Anewgo, we do provide a lot of tools to help you create
Mm-hmm.
different content when it comes to visualizations, but let's talk a little bit about good old blogging, because that
Yeah.
certainly is not dead. And with all the changes to cookies and SEO and everything else that's
Yeah.
happening, talk to us a little bit about best practices when it comes to blogging and reusing or updating your older content, because so many of us have spent hours and hours pre-chat
Mm-hmm.
GPT writing those
Right.
fabulous blog posts for our community. And now what?
The now what is, make sure you're looking at your Google Analytics or whatever analytics tool you use every month to see what are your top blogs, because you might be surprised. You might be getting traffic from something that talked about fall festivals coming up that's 2 years old. No need to throw that blog away. Just, I would say, repurpose it, rewrite it, whatever term you want to use. This is part of what the Google Helpful Content Update will really teach you is don't keep content on your site that isn't relevant anymore. Instead, update it and make it relevant, or just get rid of it, because it's just taking up dead space on the internet and nobody's going to read it if it's irrelevant. But if you've got a post on apple festivals or fall festivals or hay rides or whatever it is as we're coming into fall, maybe take a look at that and update it with the new information for this year. And then when you go to republish it, don't so you're not going to delete the old article. You're not going to add a new article. You're literally going to open the old one, go in, you're going to edit the content so it's up to date. And then when you click publish, you're publishing it with today's date or tomorrow's date or whatever date you finish it on. And then that gives Google the opportunity to go back in and re-index that blog that might already be ranked pretty highly if you're getting a lot of traffic on it. And it gives you the opportunity to refresh your site with a lot less work than starting over, especially some of these really in-depth fall festival posts. And if you've done a great roundup of lots of different things going on in your area, it might be 12 or 1400 words. So all you've got to do is refresh it, not completely start over. So it's interesting. I think a lot of people find the whole process of updating old posts really tedious and they'd rather just start over. But the reality is you can really boost your SEO by digging deep and finding some of those older posts and refreshing them versus just starting over.
I love that idea. You've spent so much time already working on those posts. So you guys remember, that's a great tip from Carol, that you don't throw away the old post. You don't publish from brand new, just rework your old post. And I can think of so many different posts that you guys have probably created already that are quote unquote evergreen,
Yep.
that are bringing that traffic to you every single day, but maybe something has changed. Maybe it's the process that you're doing, maybe it's certain technology that you introduced into the customer journey. So talk
Right.
about that, add that information, and let your customers know what is available.
If you've got a blog post that really isn't performing as well as you think it should, especially in Google Analytics 4, which looks at time on site differently than universal Google Analytics did. So we're all looking at that. If you want somebody to spend longer on that blog post, add more photos, add more renderings, add more 3D tours. Again, Anewgo has all those tools for you. And those are things to get people to stay and read or watch and interact. So on all of those blog posts, wherever you can include things, include more. Maybe it's a photo gallery, it's a video, but a lot of times I look at blogs that aren't performing well and they have one photo in them. It's just not enough to catch today's very overwhelmed. You've got 8 seconds or 6 seconds to catch that consumer's attention. More photos, more video, more 3D tours, more renderings, just more of all of that type of content as well.
Yeah, that's an easy one, right? Go back to all of the blog posts you created and
Yeah,
make it your mission to just update and add. You don't even have to update the blog right away, right? Just update the photos,
right.
update the videos. That is such an easy one, especially for oftentimes we'll have a new model home with the new furniture. We're not using that same model from the 90s or, you know,
Yeah,
with the colors and everything else. So update, that's an easy swap out. But again,
right.
Google will re-rank that article based on that new information that you've put into it. And we do know how
Absolutely.
consumers love those pretty photos, videos, and they love looking at
Hmm.
all of that. So
Yeah. And then fall content, Anya, people love fall. I love fall too. I always laugh because all these fall clothes come out and I want to go buy them all, right? But it's Atlanta and I wear them for, I don't know, I feel like I wear fall clothes 2 days out of the year. So I'm like, I don't need another sweater. I'll never wear it, right? But it's the same thing. I think people start nesting in the fall. They're really looking at what can they do to their home? Do they need a new home? What are the trends? So talking about trends in lighting, trends in flooring, trends in whatever, trends in everything. And then talking about that fantastic kitchen, because we're all, again, thinking about nesting. We're all thinking about cooking and cooking for our
Thanksgiving,
families.
right?
It's just right around the corner. It's tomorrow practically. So that's another fun post. Talk about your chef's kitchens and the appliances you have and how easy it will be to cook Thanksgiving dinner in your multi-generational floor plan because you've got different countertop heights for the different aged people. And there's so much we could talk about. It's lifestyle. So thinking about the lifestyle someone's going to live in the fall in your homes really lends itself to a whole wide array of stories that probably aren't even on your blog yet. So just some different ways to look at things and then start thinking about 2024 and what's new. And maybe it's a coming soon communities post just to start teasing it and sending those people back to your online sales counselor or somewhere for a VIP list. But you think about fall, we're nesting, we're thinking about the holidays, we're crazy busy. And then we're starting to think about renewal and the new year. Goals for the new year. Is your goal a new home? Great, great time to talk about it.
Yeah.
So,
And here's an idea that can help you guys create more content too. So think about personalizing the content. For example, like just Carol mentioned talking about the holidays in the home, right? And the cooking. Now, think about your audience, right? Are you targeting first time home buyers? Do you have some of that 55 plus buyers?
right.
And maybe you do have that small percentage of the move up buyer, right? So you can write literally 3 different articles about the same exact topic, but targeting the message that would resonate with those 3 different audiences. Because now remember, we have AI in the mix, and most people are no longer searching. I shouldn't say most people no longer searching Google, not yet, but I think a lot of us are now going straight to ChatGPT. We're going straight to Bard, all the other AI chat plugins that we have. Instead of just going to Google to search for information, we are asking specific questions. And so when somebody searches for maybe what's a great community for a young 20 some, right, starting out, they're buying their first home in Atlanta, what are the great places to live? You can
Mm-hmm.
target your message to appeal to somebody in their early 20 somethings on that topic, and then redo that for the 55 some and for that
Right.
move up buyer. 3 different SEO blogs, 3 different conversations. And when that perfect buyer is searching for that information, that's the kind of stuff that's going to be pulled by AI from
Right.
your blog and appear more personal, right? As opposed to just writing one generic blog that's going to appeal to
Exactly.
everybody on that same kitchen. Because yeah, kitchen may not mean the same thing for everybody. For some people, that's where they store their sweaters, is in the oven.
Wow.
For other people, it's a whole other thing. So find what's going to resonate with your buyer and just
Mhm.
multiply that.
Yeah, you're spot on with the AI too. We've all got to start thinking about what would I ask AI if I wanted them to find this blog post and then write to that. And it's a lot more questions. You go to AI to ask it to solve a problem, to ask it to give you an in-depth answer. And if we want our communities and our building companies and remodeling companies to show up in those results, then we need to have that content on our website, because it's not going to show up otherwise. And that's going to require us to write longer, deeper, more thorough content. Folks who aren't writers don't love that idea, but those of us who write for a living think it's fun and it's a challenge. I love to write long blog posts, but a lot of people don't. And if you use AI to write those blog posts, make sure you do a really good job reading them. I think it's great for a first draft, but it's a lot of passive voice and it's a lot of duplication, and AI is not quite there yet. If you don't write well, it's a great first start. If you write well, it's still a great first start, but you got to edit it. You've got to look at it. You got to make sure it makes sense for your company and sounds like something that you as a human would write.
Yeah, 100%. So I love AI, and obviously I've always been tech oriented person. So I use AI tools every single day in not only my professional life for marketing for Anewgo, but I also use it in my personal life every single day. So for you as a marketer, can you tell us some of your favorite go-to AI tools that you've tried so far?
Wow. I've tried a lot of tools that are similar to chat. I've tried Bard, I've tried chat. I like HomeScribe because it's in our industry and was created for our industry. Chat's probably the one I use the most. It seems like every single site now has its own AI version. So I always try them. One of the press release distribution services we have has an AI. It's terrible, but they have it. But I like chat. And what I like about it is we were like trying to come up with a phrase to use for a client this week. And they're like, we like, this phrase, but it's trademarked, so we can't use it. And I'm like, I don't really love that phrase, but let's see what else is out there like it. Let me just ask Chat. And I always call Chat Chad. Let me ask Chad what he has to say about that. So I put it in chat and I asked a couple different ways, and we got pretty long answers, or a lot of answers, but 2 or 3 of them were really relevant and way better than anything I would have come up with in Hello 5 seconds. So I like it from that perspective, because then it gives you a starting point. Like, oh, well, I like part of this and I like part of that. And what if I combined these things? It's fantastic for breaking that writer's block, right, Anya? You sit down to write something, you're like, oh, I don't even know how to start this. So you can get chat to start something for you and help you. You can just ask it to give you an outline. There's a lot of things you can do with chat just to help you be more effective, more efficient, and really have more time to focus on the details and getting it right versus just creating something. Oh, I'm strapped for time. I just need to get this done. You can get it done faster with more quality if you engage with an AI. And I think that's true of so many of them. One of the ones that you suggested, and I'm drawing a complete blank on the name of it now. We're starting to use it. Is it Orca, the one that takes your videos and finds the most relevant part?
Yes, it's a Opus Clip.
Opus Clips, yes.
Yes.
Opus. I knew it started with an O. So we're starting to use Opus Clips for Atlanta Real Estate Forum. We love that one because it really does help find the most relevant parts and goes ahead and chops it up into little videos for you so that you don't have to spend that tedious time doing it yourself. What are some of the other ones you like?
So of course I use Chat GPT every single day. So I actually have 3 different ones
Oh,
open all the time.
wow.
And what I'll do is I'll go and I'll type in the same thing into the 3 different versions.
Uh-huh.
So the Chat GPT, right? I have Bard by
Bard,
Google. So it's the
Google.
competitor of Chat GPT. I find that Chat GPT typically gives me better information than Bard, but Bard is plugged into kind of like real time. What's going on, if there's a website, or maybe I can say, hey, tell me what this website is all about, or tell me what this is about, so it can give you a quick summary what that is
Yeah.
about. And then the one that I've been playing with recently is called Pi, like PI.
Mm-hmm.
And that one is more of, I think it's like customer service oriented one, because it's very about like, how do you feel about this? How do you like, it's very conversational. So it's trying to engage you and it's trying to really have that more of a human feel to it. So it's interesting to ask it sometimes, oh, what do you think about this sentence, or how can I make this better? So
Oh,
it's,
that's cool.
they all give
Yeah.
you different answers, and
Ah,
depending on the
that's
situation. So I try to use all 3 again, just to stay on top of it and say, as I'm training my, not algorithm, my system to better content
Well,
over time, I like to look at those three. And then the one that I use a lot in my editing is called Descript. And that's the one that, instead of using iMovie, for example, to edit my podcasts, which I used to use in the past, now I use Descript, which works instead of working in a video timeline, it transcribes the text for you right away. And then you can just edit the text. And so it's much easier, and it's easy to remove those filler words, and it substitutes like with just pauses instead. And so I like that tool a lot, and it can add captions to it in a fun little way, and titles, and it does a lot of different things. So for content editing, I really like that tool. So
fun.
but I
Yeah.
think, like you said, the biggest benefit from using AI tools is just that you never start with a blank page. Like, I'm never like, oh, I have writer's block, I don't know what to say. This week I'm working on a script for one of Anewgo's videos, and I'm not starting from blank, right? Because I already have some information. Like, I'm going to pull in maybe some of the drip campaigns that our sales team has done on that topic. And I can take that information and say, hey, start with the script from this, and then I can improve upon it. So
Right.
that is the best part.
And I think sometimes you get something back from it, you're like, that's not really right, but it helps you to know where you were going, right? Because maybe you put something in there and you didn't really know what you were where you're going to start, right? I'm just, writer's block, no idea. But then it gives you something, you're like, oh, okay, I got that idea, but I can make it better by switching it to say this. And I don't know. I think you're spot on with chat versus Bard. I tried Bard a couple of times and just been frustrated because I felt like it gave me terrible results. If I said, hey, write a press release about, and even gave it the information, it just gave me junk back. But I love the idea of using it to search things that are more timely than 2 or 3 years ago, or however long chat goes back to or is missing. So that's cool how you're using those in tandem. I hadn't thought about that. So you've given me a new tool to play with.
Good. I'm always on the lookout for tools. Every single day I start my morning reading about new tools in AI, and I try to dedicate at least part of my week to research the new tools, because it's just impossible to keep up with everything, obviously, but you've got to make sure that you are spending some time playing with it, because that is really is the future. Like, the machines won.
Yeah.
So you got to get on board and just figure out how to make yourself more marketable, more valuable by utilizing tools that are available to you. Why wouldn't you?
Right.
And I love the tools that you mentioned, scribe.ai. So that is by our very own Baird. So he is the CEO of Enter Now. So you guys definitely check it out if you haven't played around with that tool. It's ChatGPT, but it is specifically designed for new home sales industry. So yeah,
really cool stuff.
So Carol, as we wrap things up, is there anything that you think that is worth mentioning to our builders? Any trends that you're seeing in new home sales marketing right now that you think that builders should jump on that bandwagon, or do's or don'ts? Any last minute advice?
Yeah, I guess my final advice for the rest of this year and looking into next year is find a way to make it fun. There is so much out there online. Consumers are inundated, not just by our industry, but by everything. And you think about the things that you remember, what's memorable, right? We can all sit here and say Jake from State Farm, Flo from Progressive, the Gecko from Geico. There's a million examples like that. But is your company one of those, right? If they think of your company, what do they think of? Do you have a cool, whimsical avatar? What do you have that's going to help them to remember you? One of the things we did this year is take advantage of pets and everybody's affinity for pets. The reality is more people have pets than they do have children in America today. So we created, I think when we finally counted it up, 5 different campaigns around dogs or pets. But 2 of my favorite ones blog from a dog's perspective. So we created a dog mascot, for one of our clients in the build for rent space. And that dog, so it's Ranch Cottages for Rent is the brand. And the dog's name is Dogwood after their logo, which is a dogwood. And Dogwood sniffs around all their model homes and finds all the cool dog friendly things like the big open windows that lets him watch the world go by, and he can watch the butterflies. And he blogs about dog parks and dog pet washing stations or whatever, the dog park in the neighborhood, the dog park out of the neighborhood, all the different places that dogs are allowed to go that are near the neighborhood. So that's been a lot of fun, and it gave a different voice to the blog. And then we did the same thing similar to that for Highland Homes in Florida, where we created a dog. And that, if I remember that dog's name, it's got a really cute Florida name, Sunny. So Sunny does the same thing. He talks about their communities from the dog's perspective. And that just made things so much more fun and different. And you think about it, if you're out there shopping for a new home and everything you read is, this floor plan features, this floor plan offers, this home, it's like, womp. So whatever you can do to break free of that clutter and that, I hate to say it, but it just gets boring after a while. And if it gets boring to us as marketers, then we know we're boring our consumers. So finding a way to step it up a notch and give them something a little bit different than what your competitors are doing, whether you do that with photos or video, or your blogs are written differently, or whatever it is, just find a way to have fun. Because if you're having fun with it, then consumers are going to notice you. I don't know. I always like to take the line from Dr. Seuss, Cat in the Hat. In that book, they say it's fun to have fun, but you have to know how. So figure out how to have fun. And Anya is a good source for having fun. We're a good source here at Denim Marketing. Look to the people in our space, in our real estate space, who are marketing and having fun with it, and find a way to do that for your company as well.
I love that idea about the pets. And you guys know people are obsessed with their pets. And I forget what is the average amount of money, but
it's a lot.
Around $13,000 that pet owners would spend on upgrades for their pets in the home, such as that shower station, the built-in doggy bowl, the refill water station. Like, people are spending a ton of money on their pets. And for you as a builder, that's an excellent opportunity to upsell them into more options, because oftentimes they won't spend that money on themselves, but they'll spend it on their dog.
Absolutely.
So I love that idea of blogging from the perspective of your dog. So think of ideas like that outside the box. And like you said, have fun with it. It's, at the end of the day, I always say marketing is like flirting.
There you go. Yeah.
So find a new ways to flirt with your customers in a fun way that's going to get their attention, because they are literally bombarded by so much out there.
Right.
Now, Carol, if somebody wants to work with you, if they want you to come up with the content for them or do the social for them, what is the best way to get in touch with you? Where do you hang out?
Yeah, we're very easy to find. We are Denim Marketing on all the socials. You can also find us at denimmarketing.com. You can email me, Carol, at denimmarketing.com, or you can give us a call, 770-383-3360.
Love that. Thank you so much for being our guest today. I appreciate the time. I appreciate all the ideas you have given us. So now you guys hopefully feel refreshed, and maybe now go back and redo all your old blogs from the dog's perspective.
Yeah. Hey, there you go. Yeah.
Try it out. I absolutely think that is a genius idea. But if anything, definitely take Carol's advice on updating that blog content, refreshing it. That's some easy, low-hanging fruit right there for you. So thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.